Let's just start with the basics.
Okay.
Tell me who you are.
Okay. My name's Claire, actually, and I am an artist and teacher and mom and wife. And I've lived in Chicago now for 30 years, almost on the dot. But I come from Scotland, Edinburgh, Scotland originally. I make very silly, absurd, inflatable sculptures.
So how did you get into art?
Yes, the art thing. My sister and I used to always just entertain ourselves because before cell phones and the internet, I am old. So we used to always just entertain ourselves drawing on the kitchen table. And so that parlayed through high school into taking a ton of art classes. And in my high school in Edinburgh, the art building was in like 4 blocks from the main school, so you could hide out in the high school art department and not be annoyed by everybody else. So I tended to do lots of paintings in there. And then my dad wanted me to be an engineer if I wasn't going to be a physicist like him, and so I came up with a plan to persuade him to let me be an architect. And so I applied to Glasgow to do architecture and also to art school. And then at the last minute, I was like, "Sorry, Dad, I have to go to art school. I'm not cut out to be an architect." So it was sort of in my blood early on, but surprisingly enough, I have not looked back. I went to art school for undergraduate. I went to graduate school here in Chicago, and then started teaching at the same. So I've sort of never left the womb, as it were. If play is a really serious matter in an artist's practice and in creativity in general, because I think there is a way that discovery process is the only reason that you are able to advance from a known place of making to a surprise. Or a way that there's an invention beyond what you might have imagined when you started out. So I talk a lot about failure as being a positive thing, as being a through way to discovery, and play as being a very serious activity.
Let's just talk about obnoxious and what that means. Because I see both that and harmony.
Thank you. Yay.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of like it makes me think about the duality of like a comedian. You got that everything feels funny, it feels light, but underneath it all, there's something else happening.
Right.
And that the more obnoxious it is, the more serious it is.
Right. Hopefully, yes. I mean, I use that. Yes, I use a couple different forms of humor, I think, in the way that I make the work. I use a slapstick in terms of when the work is performative and kinetic, and even just in terms of the forms themselves. There's a sort of um, clunky body quality to them, because I think of them all as sort of self-portraiture. But in terms of the obnoxiousness having an underlying subversive content, I'm sort of trying to utilize that through a feminist lens. So I'm trying to take up as much space as possible as an artist in the world, to think about how that obnoxiousness and loudness is part of it's obviously part of my persona, but it's also a way that I get to I like to sort of compete with at this monumental scale with the macho 60s monumental sculptures, and this sort of idea of abstraction or abstract expressionism as being a pretty macho task.
Claire's piece was unbelievably perfect in that spot. It was like people entering the farm, they see this glimpse of color over there that you can't miss because it was so huge. And yeah, it's this sense of playfulness. Like you could see the smiles on people's faces as they walked closer. And Claire herself, she's such a vibrant personality that yeah, it's just definitely where the art is a reflection of the person. Um, her pieces, like I knew I wanted to ask her to show at Cultivator because I thought it was a perfect fit. And I love Claire. I know that some people think, oh, what is that crazy person doing, bringing all these weird art projects to their farm? But a lot of the local people that come to the Cultivator events, they really like them. With Cultivator, we draw artists from the city, artists from the area, as well as the Brigo Farm members, our CSA members. So a lot of the people that come aren't, regular art viewing people. There's just a combination of people, including children. And so I love exposing all of those different people to the farm and to art. And with Claire's piece, the children were fascinated by them, and the people who don't normally see art were really affected that this is art.
Being able to use humor as a kind of safety mechanism, right? Or a coping mechanism, I think, is one of those major points of humor. I think if you can't laugh, you're going to cry. And I think also, right, in terms of that sense of play, there has to be ways that we can think around a problem as opposed to being siloed or pigeonholed into only having one solution. That sort of sense of creative problem solving and playful discovery is pretty urgent in the world, and for humans to maintain a sense of joy and connection to one another.